I will go to the website of the festival. Potem audio art.pl i takie mi się coś pokazuje, to znaczy, że się do tej strony też dobrali.
I don't speak Polish.
Okay, I think that it's like that we are in trouble with our main website, which I was visiting just half an hour ago, but it's not the right one, so
Shall
it's
we
quite
test
crazy.
this one?
Wait a minute. I have to recheck. You know, there are three guys which are controlling this, but I think that something gets wrong. Ah shit, that's not their fault. That's the... Poszło? Bo ja właśnie coś mam jakiś problem z...
Może profesor podejrzeć.
No dobrze, to bardzo serdecznie Państwa witam na pierwszym wydarzeniu tegorocznego festiwalu Audiach. Wczoraj, albo to było właściwie bardziej dzisiaj, wpuściłem taką informację w sieci, że będziemy pięć razy otwierać. No, so I think that the most of us are foreigners, so do you allow me to speak in English? Okay.
Polish, it's okay.
Polish is okay, but I know some people which don't understand. But
okay.
that's anyway, that's their problem. Yes, I know. So I will change language between. Będę zmieniał
Dziękuję
coś,
bardzo.
albo będę po polsku będę co innego mówił niż po angielsku, bo to wtedy jakby jest jedyne rozwiązanie, prawda, sensowne. So we have the first event. We are in fact opening the 33rd. Is it correct? Yeah, there's a 32 anniversary, so the 33rd edition of the festival, which we initiated quite long ago, and we have a great guest from Lisbon, Simao Costa from Lisbon. She's already known in Krakow because you are here, at least one.
Yes.
And your, is it correct? Your father-in-law, that's the correct. Miguel Azim is your
Yes.
father-in-law.
Ex-father-in-law.
Ex-father-in-law. Dzień dobry, bardzo prosimy. O, nawet studenci przyszli, także w ogóle jest super. Jeżeli będę kontynuował po angielsku, jest ok dla panów?
Tak.
Dobra. Siadajcie, krzesełka tam są z tyłu wolne, także nie ma problemu. Tutaj wygodny fotel również jest. So you have a comfortable chair, soft chair and no problem. And remember that the camera is here, we are here, so this is the place which should be free. Moholes. Krzesełko z tyłu może sobie pan wziąć, albo tutaj na tym fotelu. Tutaj jest miejsce, no, it's not you. I just hold the empty place here. Okay. So coming back to English, because we are manipulating between two languages. You know, when Wilson Sokorski from Brazil, from São Paulo, was here, I ask about students what language would be the best, and I make a joke, okay, maybe Portuguese, and then there was like 30 people here. They were mostly sitting on the floor, and then I said, well, how many of you speak Portuguese? And then I got 5 hands up. What? Really? Yes. And one of my favorite students, Veronika, no tego się obawiałem. Well, I'm not ready for this. Oh,
We can sit on the floor. That's fine.
should we sell the tickets or what? A, i wszystko jasne, dobra. Krzesełka są tam. No i to jest to, co lubię najbardziej. W tym momencie nagle zaczynam wierzyć, że warto ten festiwal organizować. Na konferencji prasowej ktoś mnie zapytał właśnie, na co pan oczekujesz, tam po imieniu mówił Szymon. Ja mówię najbardziej na tych ludzi, dla których to robimy, czyli publiczność jest bardzo ważna. Tu jest fotelik, na którym można siąść, bo ten fotel jest dla Simao, on będzie prawdopodobnie stał, także no czujcie się Państwo tak, jak się zawsze czujecie Państwo tutaj. So feel like at home, you know, because that's really not homeless, but domestic. That's a very nice subject as well. Go out and you know, we are moving Dzień dobry, dzień dobry, dzień dobry, dzień dobry każdemu. Właśnie wcześniej zapytałem, czy mogę mówić po angielsku, ale w tej chwili siebie proszę, żebym już przestał mówić, bo już tak zaczynamy tylko, o fajnie, że jesteście. Jeszcze znamy. Więc ja teraz powiem, co już powiedziałem. Wam powiem Polakom, że już powiedziałem, że Simao był tutaj z nami. I just repeat like in my lecture about silence of cage. Whenever somebody is coming back, I'm restarting the lecture. So I'm restarting for like 5 times, and we are still on the beginning, you know. And then we go. So then we are stabilizing the whole place. Okay, we'll keep there. Okay. Simao is coming from with a program which is also the title of the lecture. Nice trick, because the title of the project is it has the rhythm. Okay, beat without byte. So beat without byte about has also the rhythm. So that's the name of the first presentation of the audio art conference, which is usually part of the festival, quite important from the perspective of the Academy of Music. So we have several events on the concert, but mostly the lectures, presentations. The work therapy is there, but no, okay. So Simao, do you remember your first visit?
Yes, 2007, I guess.
Something like that, at Krzysztofowe Gallery, and that was doesn't exist anymore longer. There's a part of the historical museum now in Kraków. You know what is iconic? There's a Tata guy on the horse, so you can meet them. But you are using this space, which has a very strong historical background. Also famous theater Krikotu by Tadeusz Kantor was located there in the place. So perhaps you remember, yeah. What was the subter in Portuguese? The corpo.
Yeah. The translation is body underground.
Yes, with two female figures on the light floor. Yes, it was really super. in this very space. You can even check it out, because the website is full of those historical events available. So Simao, that's your turn. I look for the place for me.
We have sound actually?
If you go like this, then you should, wait a minute, you should turn here, we've got first sound. So then when you go to audio setting, then you should choose the, you should choose sound. The name of this is Bergen US, yeah, this UMC. No, we can check it. I think it should work. Unmute. To jest pierwsze, czy on ma też ten sleeping w sobie? Te głośniki nowe chyba nie mają.
Mają.
No, a czasami się ten zapala na czerwono, ale gra. Nie, tak myślałem, że też miałeś czasami, bo to są takie misterne sprawy, nie? Dlatego ich nie mam. Ja lubię, jak się śmiejecie na te tematy. Powiemy o... Muted, so it should be on. Oh, you get this cable. Okay, but it should work then. Yes. Pomożesz mi, Piotrze? Bo teraz on tutaj wchodzi, więc w zasadzie tutaj już powinien być. No, mamy ten sam numer, tylko że często nie zdemontowaliśmy to. Jakbyśmy kilka sprawdzili przy ten, czy wcisnąć kabel? No to słyszeć, że jest, dobra, no. Może przełączyć w momencie,
So then I should choose the...
another one. No teraz powinno huknąć. jaki inaczej to się nazywa.
La focale è fortuccia.
No?
La focale.
Wiecie co, bo my jesteśmy w sumie wczorajsi. Ja się rozglądam, gdzie jest mój plecak. W tej chwili jak wchodziłem, gdzie go zostawiłem. To bardzo ciekawe w tej chwili.
Tam obok drukarki może?
Proszę?
Za tobą?
Tak, to jest on. Dzięki, Łukasz. Teraz robimy taki ratunek zupełnie. Nie chciałem Państwu. O, dobrze, jest na wierzchu.
It's not playing now.
No, znaczy, przy okazji, jeżeli chcecie Państwo posłuchać najstarszych głośników świata, czyli głośników z 73 roku, to za chwileczkę będzie szansa. To są te drewniane, to są nasze pierwsze głośniki w studio.
Śliczne są.
Go here. Jest. The headphone, yes? Is the headphone? Słyszę, że Państwo zachowujecie spokój, to jest bardzo ważne. I chcę też Państwu powiedzieć, że w takich sytuacjach nie ma winnych. Jak Państwo tak dużo przyszło studentów, to teraz puszczali z tej obecności. Statystyka. Jeszcze wyrzuciłem w tej chwili Bluetootha, żeby na pewno się przez Bluetooth łączył, no i on w zasadzie już nie ma co nie działać, jakby, prawda? Tak on się jakby się komp przestawiał w momencie, kiedy fizycznie podłączamy kabel, ale no tak niby jest, ale wtedy w momencie, kiedy wybieramy tą słuchawki, no to już powinno grać.
Dlatego myślę, że to jest kompa. Bo jeśli to jest brum na tym, to...
No tak, no, chodzi o to, żeby zadziałało, tak?
Ale to możemy podpiąć jeszcze po USB-C po prostu...
Jeszcze raz? No bo ja dlatego w takich wypadkach zwykle robię bezpośrednio, no bo wtedy jak nie ma już po drodze winowajcy, tak? To chodzi o to. Wiecie, co się w takim wypadku robi? Wam pokażę. Jeżeli jakiekolwiek inne źródło, wykluczamy to, co nie gra, czyli ten dźwięk, który Państwo słyszycie, to jest dźwięk, co da now I'm announcing the historical speakers of the studio, the first speakers Tannoy from 73. They're still working, which is not really normal, because the membrana are on a special...
But it came from focal this time.
Ah, shit, okay. Ale to mogłeś nie korygować, to byśmy wtedy wierzyli w to. No dobra, okej. Powiedziałem nieprawdę. Yes.
But what about this membrane?
Well, they're still working, but you can't hear it, so you can't trust me in this moment, you know. That's it. So one story too much. Yeah. Okay. Now we're playing through the regular speakers. You know, those high top, you know.
Yeah, shitty. Good morning.
Good morning.
After all.
Because in Portugal it's one hour.
One before.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another story.
So very happy to be here in Krakow again. So actually the concert is after this CD that was released in 2021
Okay.
or 2, I don't remember anymore. And yeah, I think the general idea is to have more of conversation than presentation. So I'll just briefly present myself and the project work, and then we can hear some music and talk a little bit, I guess. So no one hears CDs anymore, but we are stubborn enough to keep doing them. So I will show you the object because it's very emotional to me, the object itself. So here it goes. Goes like this. It has this nice cover that holds the CD. So you can check it out in the end if you want. So for starts, so as Marek said, my name is Simao, and I work as a pianist and composer, and somehow interdisciplinary artist. So going a little bit to visual art fields, but always using sound as a raw material in general. So I like to regard sound as a very physical and even tactile experience. So I've been kind of dealing with that also. And so some lines in the work that they are regarding more like composition, like in electroacoustics on one side, or installations, audio installations in other side, collaborations with dancers and choreographers. It's very important. So creating shows, stage shows in performing arts in general, together with other artists, and the piano works as a line that is bringing all together, or as a starting point. It started with the piano. So this is the third work that I do with the piano solo setup. I started to call it an extended piano. So maybe we can understand why or not later on. And what should I say? I think we should start to listen to the first track and the last one, because the CD is done like in as a mirror. So there are 2 tracks, and then the other 2 kind of split in mirror in between them. So we start with the piano sounds from the first track, and then piano sounds from the last track. Okay, let's see if the internet is working actually. So the first track is called Beat. description. So all the sounds are from the piano strings. They are recorded as the piano would be. So the microphones are recording the piano as a traditional recording style. So just recording what is going on the strings and on the piano, and there is no editing of the audio. So the capture of the sound is done live and real time. And of course, that you notice there is no attack on the strings, so that was kind of the challenge of the project.
Are you using EBO, for example?
So yeah, we can go to the more details, but for start or reflection, I wanted to remove the most characteristic thing about the piano sound, that is that it has an attack and a decay, and also make a homage to the piano body and strings themselves as a potential for generating sound without the percussion of the hammers. So on the other end, we have kind of lots of percussion. So I'm going to play the last track, and also there is no. I mean, in this, of course, there is some electronics to induce the piano strings, but no electronics processing the sound whatsoever. And in the last track, there is absolutely no electronics involved, just acoustic sounds that are captured from the piano, and that's it.
Michale, pan może to samo zrobić, bo tu są krzesła na tym. Ja proponuję to krzesło tutaj dać, no właśnie. Wiecie co, ja mam taką prośbę do dziewczyn. Uchylcie okno, bo na chwileczkę będziemy się od tej wystarczy. No można tak, ale oczywiście chyba nie jest zimno w tej chwili na zewnątrz.
Nie, chodzi tylko o samochody.
No ale my lubimy samochody.
No
Od
dobra.
początku XX wieku, od futurystów włoskich jest takie miłe otwarcie. A tutaj nie jeżdżą, więc właściwie nie wiem, o które chodzi te samochody.
Teraz to słyszymy.
No, myśmy tutaj kiedyś mieli podsłuch ulicy. Studio podsłuchiwało to, co jest na zewnątrz, tak żeby panu przybliżyć ten temat. I mógł pan zadzwonić na numer i potem system się sam włączał i odbierał to, co się dzieje na ulicy. To jest podsłuch publicznych miejsc jest dozwolony, to tak a propos. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I understand a little bit of Polish.
I know.
It's 9 minutes. We are going to hear it all, but in two parts. First just the sound, and then with the kind of video clips from the middle to the end.
Okay. when we go to the website of the festival and we click on your project, then we see several objects.
Yeah,
Like
that's the third
playing itself. So
Yeah, you can see that also.
it seems that you are not playing on them. There's a special kind of cooperation between.
Yeah, so this was the first track and the last track,
Okay,
and
so
then like the second is this is the one.
Zapewniam Państwa, że na koncercie, so just to be clear, because there are many performances, every time it's not just a little different, but it depends very much on the place, on the resonance of the place, and you have also your own soundman, Andre, is coming with which is very special. So the title is Pure Acoustic Solo, but then we have on top we have the amplification.
Yes.
And so that's once you can say obvious, but in fact with this combination of objects it's not,
not that obvious.
Not
Yeah.
object.
So it's not that you have a sound technician, is that you have almost a second musician that is Andre. It's you. Yeah.
It was a secret introduction.
Yeah, secret introduction that goes along with the concerts. Of course, it's the piano that is being amplified, but it's very important to make it in the room. It's actually the amplification is kind of subtle. It's not that much, but it's important. So the one that you were mentioning is from the third track of the CD. And let it play a little bit.
Keep the light, okay.
So there is also a subtitle of the work that is Bit Without Byte and Learning Machine. Because we are very focused nowadays in learning, learning whatever, learning everything, but I think we forgot to keep the unlearning algorithm running. So sometimes you have to remove things, so for instance, if you put something in the internet nowadays, you cannot assure that you can remove it, so you just can add. We are just adding. So yeah, so in very very general approach to the instrument or to the piano itself, it was yeah, I mean very important, at least for me, to face the instrument without what I consider the limitations of being a 12-step tone instrument that is fixed in this tuning. So the starting point of the work at the piano was to deal with this problem. So in the end of my classical training, I felt kind of how do you call it? It was like cast error. So it felt like I have chosen the wrong instrument. Then I make my piece, and I start to look to the piano as an harp or as a string set that could be explored further. And of course, the relation between this particular instrument, or all the instruments, between technology and development and music is very important. So the piano itself, it's like a technological endeavor that went on and on and on and on. Mechanical, technical, mechanical endeavor, and I see no reason to stop it. Because the mechanical aspect is very much developed nowadays. So like a modern piano, it's a well-oiled, fine-tuned machine of mechanical working and devising. So I chose another ways. So so it goes like the CD or the piece goes from no percussion, no percussion or no percussion. So the envelope is like this, going smoothly, and then the third track is like interaction with the machine and the musician, so to speak, and dealing with the more percussive aspect of it, and the final one is no machine at all, just the pianist and the acoustic and the magnets on the strings. So that's I think most of the things that I would say. I don't like to talk about the work that I do. I prefer to do it actually. So you can come to the concert today to see it live. This already is a bit of a spoiler, I guess, but who cares? So, or if you do care, come to the concert because it's I guess a nice thing to do. It was actually a challenge or kind of thing to be afraid of in the making of the project. I was not sure how far or how until what grade I could match the recording or match the final outcome. So there was the making of the CD, and then there was a big question mark: can I play it live? Can I do it as the CD live? And yeah, and the answer was yes, because I had to learn some things again, because the creation process had some improvisation and also some technical things that were not designed to be fixed. So there was kind of afterwards learning process to be able to do it live as close to the CD as possible. So that's it. I don't know, we can talk of course about some technical details or some poetic also things that you would like. No, anyone has questions? Yes?
Thank you. If I may ask you, what is the process of extending the piano? How does it look like, and how much control do you have over these things that smack the string? Is it like on off as in like bass drum, or is it like more
I have
granular?
a lot of control. So actually, the extending the piano, it's for me how to enhance the acoustic capabilities of the instrument. So I started with more like with a DSP approach, like 2006, the first works that were very much like just processing sound in real time. I was very interested in putting sound, controlling the sound itself. So like having a microphone and then some audio analysis and some data, and then that data would real time influence the DSP algorithm so that the electronics would behave like something that was happening with the sound itself, and then to blend this. So I'm very interested in blending the psychoacoustics of the phenomena, sound phenomena in general. So everything that is going to melt this supposedly electronic world and the more acoustic or mechanical world would be my thing, I guess. So the extension of the piano in this project is done with magnets on the strings. So slowly and by chance I discovered that the magnets, if strong enough, they will vibrate with the string. So if you just plug the the M on the string, you are going to have something like a gamelan of Indonesia or something like that, which is perfect for detuning, but it's also perfect because you can control in which harmonic the magnet is, and the mass of the magnet as a pitch, low pitch, so you can really devise and then reiterate the result. So you can either just being grooving around with lots of different things, but then you can note it down and you can do it again, and you can do it in any piano. So it's a matter of you knowing the length and just with the finger discovering the harmonic and put the magnet on the harmonic itself. Of course, the distance between the three strings, sometimes it's an issue because there's some strings, some of the sets of the three strings of the piano are more narrow or more wider. Sometimes there is a little bit of trouble there. But so extension with magnets, and then I was using like induction loudspeakers on the wood of the piano and on the strings. So I felt that the piano was kind of an attempt to build a loudspeaker because of the big body and the cover of the piano, the projection of the sound, to make something able to confront an orchestra and have lots of sound. So I started to be interested in sending electronics through the body of the piano instead of the PA system. So the sounds were on the body of the piano, and the microphones were just there to capture the final result. So no electronic sound to the PA system, only from the microphones. This was like the second work that is called Short Circuit by another editor that I premiered in 2014, I guess. So of course I use the piano also in performative shows. Sometimes I'm pushed to do some things that I wouldn't, because I'm just collaborating with other artists, which helps in general in the research. So loudspeakers like this one, this is a loudspeaker. For instance, this one has a magnet so that it doesn't go directly to the string, but it goes through the magnet. And yeah, and then in this work I started to I have used an E-bow to put the strings into vibration, but then they were kind of expensive, and there are 88 strings. You have to multiply by 100 euros each E-bow, so it was a challenge. And then and the E-bow is like a magnet that goes around, and I was already using magnets on the strings, and someday by chance I was like, what? But why? If there is a magnet there, it should vibrate. So I started to look for means to make the induction of the magnets that were on the strings. So yeah, I started to use the regular fans of the computers to induce the magnets. And then, of course, I was thinking about some Raspberry Pi or some whatever electronics to control the signal. But because of another project, I found out that I could use audio signal to control both the motors and the induction, costume induction from the fans. So this is because the function of a loudspeaker and for that matter of a fan or of an electric motor are basically the same. So you have like a magnet that is producing a stable electromagnetic field, and then you have electricity that's going to make variations to that field. That's what happens with a loudspeaker, that's what happens with a fan, that's what happens with a motor. So I start to control the motors with audio signal. So of course you have to have audio card with lots of outputs, and then you have to amplify it with an amplifier. I start to use car audio amplifiers because they was 12 volts, so very much compatible with the motors. And then it started to be kind of crazy and to go more and more.
The motor is
So
acting as a membrane.
actually,
In the
it
movement.
was even better because what is happening here, that I use mostly sinusoids to control the motor. Of course, you can send any audio signal there, but the sinusoids, they are just perfect because they go to a peak, so you have the maximum electricity on the motor, and then they go to a downfall. So the motor actually doesn't rotate; it goes one side and then the other, and then one side and then the other, and then you have the volume to control how strong it is, and you have the frequency to control how fast they
So
are.
why don't sawtooth wave?
If you put a phaser, of course, it's going to be more percussive.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can put multiple sound waves to create patterns and whatever. So it's crazy. It's a place that you can be several weeks just tweaking it around and experimenting. And the thing is, it's very kind of physical. Actually, the motors are rescued from printers, regular printers. It seems there are a lot that don't work. So I start to collect printers and to salvage the motors, so that I could have as much as I wanted to experiment and actually to fail, to burn them if it wasn't working. So yeah, so that's it. The motors went that way. The control works that way. So you can really. So what I do is that in concert I have an iPad that is connected to the Max MSP, and we have the specific sound waves and a way to collect presets that you can bundle together. And that's it. It's very specific and it's very alive. So you get this mix of high precision, but also you can make it very juggly and very erratic. So you can have it both ways. So it's like if you put 4 hertz, you're going to be like 4 bits. But then if you put the second sound wave at 0.1 or something, it will do like. So it's like fighting inside with the big wave and the other one. So you can really control rhythm, because like 1 hertz it's 60. How do you call it? The
cycles.
yeah, the musical figure in English. The note note equal to 60. So you can really mess around, and you can do like accelerandos and retardandos, and you can do whatever. You can do it in block, like synchronized motors that go like in block, doing an accelerando, and and the thing is, I didn't needed to learn any control device on any new hardware. Just use the audio signal and what you know from audio signal, and yeah, of course you have to do the programming of the audio itself, but yeah, and it's kind of bulky and heavy because you have the amplifiers and audio cards and everything, but it's enough to go to a plane, I guess. So
And when you have all those magnets vibrating on strings, do you need to ground the piano? Not to,
no, it's 12 volts. There is
Okay.
no danger of electrical
Looks
harm.
formidable.
Yeah, they look like
Scary. Ground yourself.
yeah. You have to ground myself. That's it. So I start. Actually, the concert starts standing, and it's like what? Grounding. Yeah, and
Very cool.
yeah.
Did you have any like inspiration from the literature? I mean, like some maybe, because for me what was like the first one was a bit, the starting was a bit like a ricercata.
Yeah, of course we are, and I am all influenced by all the great musicians and composers, but I wouldn't say directly. I was looking for the beat without the percussion. So I was trying to make the wave, the waves conflict with the waves from the piano strings beating with each other and finding rhythms just because they have so close frequencies. So this was like the main idea and excitement, I would say. So like because the low pitch from also the magnets, and because I could actually suddenly I had an E-bow with which I could choose the frequency of the exciter, and then because I know the string and the harmonic where the magnet is, I can play around with more sympathetic stimulation with the thing, with the magnet and the string themselves specifically. That would of course resonate more if they are excited on a frequency that is on the harmonic scale of that system. So, or you can just, and because the simulation is completely silent, you can send audio waves to the exciter without any sound, because the system, so if you hold it like this, there is no sound. If you make it close to the magnet, then you have the sound. And you have of course the audio, the volume control of each one, so you can really fine tune it and find the beats. Yeah, of course you have to rehearse in the specific piano, so that everything goes together with the acoustic of the place, and yeah.
How long it took you to build this system, like this extended piano? I mean, like the whole.
It's hard to say. I think the projects bring things. It's a process that goes over the years, but like the specifics of this, because like the motors, I found them actually on another project. The motors and also the fan, I found it on a project that I have with Marta Cerqueira, which is a dancer and choreographer, and we wanted to, because the piece was called Air, and we had like shadow of fan on the floor. So there was a light, there was a fan, and then there was the shadow of a big fan, and I wanted the fan to spin in very synchronized with sharp sounds. And so the fan started not because I wanted to put the magnet, but because of another project. And then there was a guy in that research center that told me, "Well, just put the fan on the output of the amplifier." I said, "What?" And then I tried it, and it worked, and I could synchronize without any other hardware. So I started like that. But for the specifics of this, I would say until the record itself was out, more or less, I would say 1.5 years of research, more or less. Of course, not full time every day, because we have to do several things, and yeah.
Do you consider it, excuse me, I thought you were finished. Do you consider your instrument like a finished thing, or is it still in development?
I mean, what I try to do is to make some crystals now and then. So the CD and this beat without byte, it's a crystal. I played more or less now. I try to play exactly as it is on the CD. And in that regard, I always make the same set. But then there is a new project, and you make more developments, or you have like more improvisative, the project with drum set and piano. I'm working now with piano and electronics with Tiago Cerqueira. It's another musician. He's going to premiere next year, and also with a singer from Amsterdam that is Neko Novelas. And so I think that I used the resources along several projects, and I crystallized the set for some of them, and then I stick with it. So I try to then develop or fine-tune that one set and try to make it perform till the as much as it can. Otherwise, you are just drifting, always drifting. So I think it's a good thing between being like more traditionally focused on one result, and at the same time continuing the research. So, but it's not like I always prepare the piano the same way in all the projects and I write for that set. It's not like that. It's like this project has a specific hardware and devising of the piano, and I stay with it in the project, in what regards to the project itself, and then I'm always trying to. I'm working with solenoids now. It's good. New thing. It's really good.
How is life in Portugal now?
It's beautiful. Yes. Yeah, it's good. I'm a big fan of my country, I guess. So the weather is great. People earn little money, which is good, of course, or not, depending on your expenses. But then I think it's good. It's culturally it's very alive, I would say. In musical terms, there are lots of people doing great work, and of course it can always be better, and the infrastructure and the politics could be a lot better, of course. But then if it's not that good, you go to the beach and get some sun, which is a lot there. So
And you always forget about everything.
you forget about everything for
One
one
of the
afternoon.
places like Cascais and all those places are
They
in
are
a good
still,
state.
yeah,
Yes.
good state. Beautiful. Of course, we have lots of tourism in what regards to the city center, and lots of speculation with houses, and so lots of shitty things happening. But I think they are more general than specific to the country, I guess. So yeah, I moved for the south river, south of the river. It's called Almada. Quieter there, so it's nice.
More closer to Mediterranean.
No. It's Lisbon, but on the other side of Tagus
Okay,
River.
talking
So,
about Lisbon.
yeah, you just have the boat or the bridge.
Okay, getcha.
But yeah, you don't suffer so much with.
You are flying through Amsterdam
Through Amsterdam,
yesterday.
yeah.
So there's no direct flight now because there was.
I don't know.
For many years there was
There
quite
was
good. I think
To Lisbon. There's a direct.
Lisbon,
Is there?
There's a direct flight to Porto, which is not.
which is not the same
No.
city, yes.
I know it's not the same city, but it's not that far, and you can get a flight from Porto
It's
to
just
Lisbon.
300 kilometers away from Lisbon.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's good. I don't know. I was fortunate enough not to be scheduling the flights myself, so I really don't know.
Well, in fact, I'm touching a little bit fragile subject because we've got in contact through Miguel, through Miso Music, through this organization. When I founded Polish Society for Electroacoustic Music in 2005, so there was like a new opening on those structure of electroacoustic music, and
Yeah.
studio is the place who initiated the Polish National Federation of Electroacoustic Music. So that is another background, and I remember my first visit there.
Yeah, in Oeiras. I
you
did a
remember,
master
yes.
class with you there. Yeah, it was nice.
2004,
2005, yeah.
2005,
yeah.
yeah.
I was starting.
What about Andre? What about? Am I right or I'm completely wrong? Which I like to be. That the French language is the same important in Portugal, like I don't know, Spanish, English. What is the? Because
Not quite.
that's what I found out very
French
quite
and
common
French
in
and
Portugal.
Portuguese.
That the French is
It's
floating
more
around
like
my ears.
Baltics, like in the Baltics, like older generations are more likely to speak Russian, for instance, and the younger English. In Portugal, we have a little bit like that with French and English. So the main foreign language on the older generations would be French.
Okay.
And because they
but
also
nowadays-
migrated to France.
Yeah,
For,
yeah.
for
But
work
nowadays,
and
I wouldn't
better
say
living.
that. Maybe English is more dominant.
Do you know many Polish people living in Portugal?
Some, yeah. Some, yes. Some Polish
You know
people.
why? Because my experience, like a Pole coming to Portugal, walking on the street, I hear some Polish guy, but then when I come in closer, oh, they speak Portuguese. This is a very special story about those phonemes, which
Yeah.
are fully in your language. From the distance, you recognize it
Yeah,
like a
because
a
we close
very
all the
nice-
vowels.
Yes.
There is less open vowels.
Uh-huh.
But like Portuguese from Brazil, it's quite different because of,
Yes, it's
and
different.
sound-wise because of that, because they open all the vowels. Of course, we can understand.
I cannot
each
recognize.
other,
That's
but
the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
The same perhaps you recognize easily between Slovak and Polish. And I remember also foreigners coming here and they ask me, why you don't use those Slavic languages? They are the same for my ear.
Yeah, for the year, yes.
They have a lot of traps and so on. No, that's
Yeah.
quite interesting when you are traveling and then we are touching this, getting this feeling of the neighborhood of this environment, and that's really amazing. Especially those places full of tourists, which
Yeah.
are very intensive. And the Lisbon is the place, perhaps
Yeah.
similar to Krakow.
Yeah,
in a
probably.
way.
Yeah. And the size of the city is also more or less
No, we
the
were talking
same.
about that
We were talking
yesterday.
about that.
It's not
So,
very different from Lisbon.
yeah.
And I love to be on the edge of the Europe there, which is another
Yeah,
story.
actually, me too. You can't go no further.
Can we
You
jump?
are stuck on the water. It's a nice feeling, I guess. I had a friend German friend that went away from Germany for his own reasons until he couldn't go any further, so he was living in Lisbon. Because of that reason. Yeah, so come to the concert. It's going to be fun.
I have a question
No,
regarding
yes, yes,
technology and the way technology may affect the way you can change the sound of a piano.
Uh-huh.
I'm an old guy, I'm Italian, and when I was 17, 18 years old, I used to work with many Italian composers, absolutely unknown here in Poland, such as Roberto Cacciapaglia, Franco Battiato, Tutino Donadoni. And I remember, I was young, they were all fascinated by the way you can change the sound of a piano, how you can change a piano like a drum machine. But they had no technology at all, no MIDI sound, so they used to wear small rubbers, small coins, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm very surprised the way technology, and what do you think about in 20 years? Technology again might affect the way you can change piano, can be less expensive, because in many cases, I mean, if you are a young composer and you want to do, it can be very expensive. So
Yeah.
do you think that it would be easier in the future?
I don't know. I think I look at technology as a tool as much as I can nowadays. Like if you are using like a phone and you are into social media, it's not a tool anymore because it's coming to you. It's coming to your psyche and it learns things about you. It's not like an hammer. So if you grab an hammer, you can use it, but the hammer is not going to influence you that much, I would say. But nowadays the ways that we use tools are kind of misleading because you think it's a tool, but it's not quite a tool because it's learning about you and is reinforcing you-ness,
Okay.
which can be quite damaging in some regard, I would say. Of course, we are happy because we have a book that we like, and technology is telling us which similar book should you read afterwards. But then you are more and more equal to yourself,
Oh, okay.
which is contrary to diversity, and I cannot imagine what it would be for me to be more equal to myself in the bad way, which is, I think it's very bad. So a step backward. For me, it really doesn't matter if I'm using coins or nails or whatever in that regard, or technology or electricity, or I think as tools to like extend or develop my way to face reality. So if you are into coins and nails still, I would say go for it, because they are amazing resources to change the piano and to develop new sounds. And of course you can really fine tune. There was I mean, from Cage, I would say a big tradition of the prepared piano.
Yeah.
So the thing about the prepared piano is that you have like a fixed set, and like if you put the nail on one place, you still have only the hammer to make it to make the sound. So you have always hammerish sounds,
Okay.
and I was looking forward to cut with that. So I was really like willing to use the strings, but without this. I think
Yeah.
it was more or less
That's
the
a
first
completely
thing that I
different
said.
approach.
Is that the approach to the sound where you cut the first psychoacoustic expectation that we have from the instrument, that is going to be a pluck and then a decay.
Yeah.
So of course I tried the E-bow, but then we have one. Of course the induction speakers are really good, because you can really mess with the string element and the excitation of the string. I started to use sinusoids because of that, because I was not interested in the sound going to the loudspeaker, but the loudspeaker more as a motor or something that is going to unravel what is inside the string. So I was more interested in what was the behavior of the string as an acoustic element, and how could I play with it dynamically. So then if you use a computer and something that you can change dynamically, it was fun. And because my training is as a classical pianist, so I have this horse race background, and the physical channel, almost like sport challenge with music making and instrument to put outside of me, I guess. And I like that sensation of the challenge, physical challenge, and whatever. So I tried from the start, 2006 more or less, to have the electronic devices or apparatus to behave as with the same complexity as the sound itself. So, and also I mean, let's face it, the piano, controlling a piano hammer with a piano, modern piano, it's a huge control over sound. Can really, of course, you are strict to the piano timbre, but you really have, you can really control sound, and like you can really play very softly, you can hammer it, you have control over sound. And when I start to learn Maxim SP and to use electronic sound, I was like, what the fuck, I really cannot control this as with so many layers.
It might be very frustrating.
But yeah, it could be frustrating. So I start to look for ways for the electronics to behave as acoustically as I could. So in the beginning was like to analyze the so I had this thing that I built that is very simple. That is like you have the envelope follower and it's connected to a pitch bend. So when you stack the piano, you have two sounds: the direct sound and the pitch bended, and it was like. Okay, and then there was some things rambling in the end. So I was not turning any knobs. So the piano playing was turning the knobs. The sound itself was turning the knobs. So this was kind of the idea back then, and I kept it with me. So that sound and the playing itself. Of course, I use some foot pedals and iPad touch comes very handy, and some master volume, for instance, it's very important when you are dealing with electronics. But I wanted this feeling of having electronic devices or electronic sounds behaving like. Do you remember Subterrâneos do Corpo, Marek? You are answering. Sorry. There was a piece almost with very basic synthesizer sound. Actually, it was the name of it is PAF. It was done on IRCAM on I don't know, late 70s or something, and they kept it and then they transformed it to Maxim SP. So it's very basic. So the thing was to imagine sounds that were inside the body, so like a rumbling stomach or some imaginary bloodstream or some micro landscape inside the body, and so that the behavior of the sound, like what is happening between the sounds was more important to me or to my sensibility than pitch or other things. So the thing of making you hear something and you remember, or you have a feeling of bug or something that is alive or it comes from biology, was my interest back then, or in that piece. So I always try to think about the sound in this way, and then the more traditional traditional approach to music composition more of the times come afterwards. And yeah, so yeah, I have fun with that also. Which note, which spectrum, so it's not random, of course, but most of the time the initial thing, it's a very raw, more visceral. Let's see what is happening. What do you mean? I'm talking to myself. What do you mean about that? So, and I like this feeling of making it to ground myself to this initial thing. And of course you have the brainy part and of the exploration, but try not to to let the more intellectualized process to come and put the initial visual thing off. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult, because sometimes I feel things that I do are too simple, but then I do my process to, yeah, it's simple, it's working, let's make it like that. So like this last piece was actually coming from a show that I did with the dancer. It was a regular beat, and I was like, the regular beat, am I keeping the regular beat, am I not keeping the regular beat, it's going to be okay or not. But then the process went on, and I started to do like more this like trance thing with the regular beat, and putting the complexity of the polyphony of the snares and different sounds coming from my fingers, and then I was having fun with it. So let the beat goes, let it be. It's kind of disco thing or transy. So let it be. It's what is working in this work. I'm not going to remove it just because I like offbeat things also. So it's, of course, you have to struggle a little bit, but then I try to follow my intuition or my stomach, I guess. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Would you like to tell us about the literary or poetic layer of? You don't call your compositions like composition number one.
No.
They have titles.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, I think I was very much influenced by the some process from the visual arts about giving names, or actually not giving names at all. There are lots of artists that started to call untitled because they wanted no relation with words. But I think for me it's like trying to find myself from this initial more blurry feeling of what I want to do, to find of course we have readings and we have lots of things, but the words or the titles most of the times help myself to find a structure. Sometimes the structure of the piece comes beforehand, or I impose very practical things to myself to narrow the options. Like in the last project, it was like it started EasyJet flight, and I said no, and I was using like the MIDI bar underneath the keys of the piano. So the thing would be to go to the concert hall, remove all the keyboard set of the piano, remove the hammers, remove all the keys, put the bar, put the keys again, put the hammers again, and put it inside again. So very handy for a set, of course. And then in the end, instead of peers, removing the, and then I said no more of this. I'm tired. I'm sick of it. Let's do something that is going to fit on the EasyJet maximum bag. It was a challenge, and then in the process I was discovering nice things that required this more gadget or whatever, and I was saying no, this is for another project. I'm going to stick with this limitation. So I like this approaches, and so getting back to your question, most of the things of the titles and the poetics behind it, it's building the structural time frame. I mean, my personal approach to it of the project, and yeah. So in this case, I had the title first. Like I was very much this beat thing, and the beat without the punching. So and then there was this thing about unlearning the piano, and unlearning a machine, and also dealing with this very more nowadays issue of we are very good at machine learning, but we have no escape button to make the machine unlearn, and ourselves sometimes also. It's very important. So bit without byte was without a byte. It is also a formula or a unit was the thing. Then it started to come together, and then the name transformed into 4 tracks, and actually they were like as a mirror, as I said. Like, so I think the words and the poetics helps me with more like building a structural frame where I can move inside and separate materials and make it all fit a nice yeah.
And what about notation? Do you like write
No, I don't. I'm going to do it now in January for the first time in 20 years. So I figured that notation was one of two things: a means of communicating with another musician, or a means of researching and developing things. And because my research and development was not score based, was more coming from the electroacoustics and coming from the physical experience of sound, I didn't need it. And because I was working with electronics and in a more transdisciplinary approach, I didn't need it to communicate with other musicians also. So I didn't need the notation. But now I'm going to premiere a piece with orchestra, piano and orchestra, in July 2026. And I still struggle if I was going to have a fast learning curve or some help. And I chose to have some help, so I have someone with me to. So I am going to still compose for orchestra, but without the score. And then we are going to translate the score a little bit. Yeah, there are lots of examples of other composers doing that. Or yeah. So
You seem to be interested in like a mediation, like the way I like perceive those pieces is like you play the piano to play the machines to play the piano. It's like this layers of mediation that interact with each other.
And layers of transduction. You know, like we call these speakers like transduction speakers because they transduce the sound to a mean that is not so obvious. That is the tactile or the whatever. And this transduction concept came together very strongly with Yola Pinto, that is another artist that I collaborate with. And it's a very important concept because it's like you keep the string of information, you transduce the thing, but it's the same information. For instance, the light is coming to my eye, and then it's going to be transducted to electricity by my brain, but the information is not changing. It's just like that you change medium, but the information set is the same. So yeah, I like this idea of like transducting or changing medium, the same thing in another medium. And how does it change for you? And sometimes the perception is completely different because you just change the context or the medium. Or if you are in some sound installations they are silent. You just hear the sounds if you are with your hearing on the wood or on the thing itself. And because because you are not listening from the speaker stereo expectation, the experience of the listener is going to be changed. And then I can experiment different music or sounds because I have to deal with the physical posture or the general body experience that the person is having. That's, for me, it's very interesting. So it's like going away sometimes from this massive, amazing studio thing that you have, like this perfect spectrum, linear, perfect equipment, and you are just sitting and enjoying your 2020 technology to be a hero. And so it's very abstract kind of thing, and more like I'm in the middle of a storm and it's very strong, and I was not counting with it, but I'm afraid suddenly because it's too strong. The sound is too strong. I was not expecting this or whatever. I like this thing, this sensation. So.
Sorry, I have one question. You mentioned that when performing live you try your best to mimic or to repeat what's been recorded on your CD, and why is that? Why are you interested in to
Yeah.
do the same to
Yeah.
do the same thing rather than to explore or
Yeah. The thing is, because of that, because the main thing or the more important thing in my work is actually to explore and to experiment.
yeah.
So this is the main process and what I like the most to do. I think it's a counterpoint or a balance in my life to this exploration. So it's like, and this example of a crystal is very important for me. Like matter is rumbling around, and then the crystal is like a way of minerals to get set and strong.
Mm.
Like that's why the diamond is so strong, for instance. Okay, so the thing is, you explore, you rumble, and then I like to put some extra effort and enjoyment in making it like strong enough for me to enjoy
Right.
the thing, the result that I've got. Not always, but I really like that sensation. It is something came from a very more wild exploration or a movement of improvisation that I recorded. Then you have several things, and then you choose something to go to a CD, for instance, that you are going to publish. And then that becomes when you. It's like a score. You can always change the score, but finally, if you print it out and if it's republished, it's going to be that thing. So it's not that I think that you should play the same afterwards, but it's like I like to fine tune also the improvisational algorithms. So they are like it's like I put rules for myself to be able to improvise. Sometimes they are so strict that I always get the same result. It's not that I find myself playing exactly what is on the CD, but as energetically synchronized as with the CD, instead of exploring more, because you can always go and explore more. And in the live situation, I like this balance, that I'm free enough inside the algorithm to not have this contract with myself when I'm playing exactly what is in the CD, but at the same time that I fine-tune the algorithm so strongly that I feel that I'm doing this exactly the same, or that I'm you know, like because if you like the final result, like the CD, and if you listen to it and you say like, yeah, this is grounded, this is nice, I like this, and then there is something that drives me to get the same energy. And then if you are always experimenting even live, you drift. So yeah, that's it. So but the main thing is that because the process sometimes is wild, like even in use of electronics, sometimes so I don't know how I did it exactly, because it was an improvisation on the first time, and I was just trying to listen as much as I could, so all the energy is to the what is happening now to the sound, and you just go with it. And then it's recorded, and then it's selected. It's going to be this track, because there is no editing. So the CD is only made of one take. Of course, I do several, and then I choose, but then it's one take. And then it's like, oh, how am I going to reproduce this? Because it's impossible to remember. But then it's, for me, more and more, in the beginning it was like, oh, it's so fucked. You know, like this is not going to be possible at all, you know, because there is no way from. But then you remember the day, you know, more or less your tools. You listen to it, and you listen to it, and you listen to it, and you take notes, and you try again. So it's a means also of getting on the project again, on the live situation as robustly as you can. So, and of course, I'm getting back to my classical pianist roots of this thing of going to the piano and play it over and over and over until you are a fucking machine. So yeah, that's it. So it's not a thing of being fond of playing exactly the same, but it's like this energy of sticking to the to the thing. Yeah, that's it. Should be lunchtime now. Yeah? Let's go. Thank you a lot.
Cool. Thank you so much.
We've taken your faces, so if you don't show up, we'll have some punishment.
That's great. Ready it up because we're going to another festival.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I know, for sure. Yeah.
It's so funny. I've been meeting Portuguese people. Like, I just came back from Portugal. Yeah, like yesterday. I've been to Porto, but then we moved to Faro because we wanted to experience the sun.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was raining in Faro all the time. In Porto.
In Porto rains all the time.
It wasn't much warmer than here.
Czyli zamiast forum, jednak audio ja bym przyszła na audio. No właśnie.
Just a little bit, yes?
No, bo mnie też napisała, że trzeba skończyć.
I no, there was because Porto, it feels like a proper city, you know, like you could live in there and do some stuff like working on projects and so on. But if you go to the south, oh, it's just tourism.
Very cool thing.
That's
I'm looking
what you
forward
see.
to your concert.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah, please
And
come.
it's not just you because you're from a different country. It's even for us. Many Portuguese people that don't know the south, they only see the tourist layer, but the Algarve has a lot of layers.
I suppose so. Because
It's actually surprising. I've only found out about the Algarve like properly 10 years ago, and I'm not even kidding.
Oh my god. Because we've been traveling some tiny, like some smaller cities, of course. Of course, we had to go to Lagos and whatever.
Simão, Costa.
Estava-me a perguntar que estava a achar que eu deixar lá embaixo. Isto também é meu.
Yeah. Nice. How long have you been there? For how long?
Just a week. But I've been there before. I like Portuguese people. They're more chill than this and going for a little cerveja in the like at lunch, like 12 a.m. Time for a cerveja. You know? Super Bock Mini. Dio mio.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Okay, let's go start. Super Bock Mini. Very good.
troszeczkę kochanieki, bo... No dobra. Nie, no...